I always feel there's one phone in the S series lineup that gets given the most amount of trouble by the fan edition, and that is the Plus model. And I think this time round is further solidified by the S26 FE. Yes, people, Ben from Lover of Tech, and we do have an S26 FE, aka the fan edition, to round up the S26 lineup for 2026. And I always say, more recently than not, the FE gives the Plus model a lot for its money when it comes to justifying purchasing it. And I'm going to run through what we actually have new with the S26 FE and what makes it potentially worthwhile considering. Now, out the gate in the UK, there is going to be the 128 gig model, 256 gig and 512 gig model, 8 gigs of RAM, and it starts at £699. I wish we were not going through such a storage and RAM crisis, because I think in an ideal world, that £699 price point would have given 256 gigs of storage, but neither here or there. This is pretty much what we have. And when we look at the design and what we have, it looks really clean. I like what I'm seeing here, the pistachio color. Again, the popularity of pistachio is really just coming into play. I like how they've done the camera bump with this nice kind of glass acrylic look. It feels different, it feels fresh, it feels nice and comfortable in the hand as you would expect from a Samsung Galaxy device. And it's pretty much the same physical size as what you get with the S26 Plus. And it takes a lot from it, and it kind of chips away at it. Well, depends really if it's worth considering and getting or not. But overall, in terms of the design and the build, the three colors it comes in, the pistachio looks nice. I really like it. Feels very much close to what you have with the S26 Plus, but it's nice and fresh and different enough where it's differentiated and looks like how a fan edition phone would be. Now let's go into the front and center, which is the display. We do have, I believe, a 6.7-inch display size, full high definition plus super AMOLED display from what we have, or dynamic AMOLED display from what we have. They are touting that it does go up to 1900 nits. I don't know how that's rated. I will test that once I get my review unit in to see what the actual total screen brightness is uniform. 120 Hz adaptive refresh rate as expected. So yeah, everything you expect from a display experience from Samsung is here. It's really good. And yeah, no problems as we go. Chipset wise, I believe we are working with an Exynos 2500, not 2600. Again, that's probably one of the differentiations you're getting with the FE compared to obviously what you have in this region with the Galaxy S26 Plus and S26 when it comes to the Exynos platform. So take that into consideration on what you have right there. And like I said, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gig storage, 256 and 512. So this is what we pretty much have when it comes to the performance. I'll test that once I have it when it comes to gaming, benchmarking, and all the things that I usually do. Now, when it comes to things like the battery and charging, that's what's really interesting, that I found that it is packing the same 4,900 milliamp hour battery and 45 watt charging. So that is walking in the same territory as the X26 Plus with the wireless charging as well. So that actually makes it very appealing. And I believe the Exynos 2500 is quite efficient when it comes to the chipset as well. So yeah, don't quote me on that completely. I don't know if I'll get around to doing a battery drain test, but let's see how it is in terms of day-to-day usage when it comes to battery charging as well. Now, when it comes to the camera, we do have a familiar setup from what we see on FE editions. We do have a triple camera system at the back, 50 megapixels for the main ultra wide, and then you've got the 3x 8 megapixel telephoto zoom and 12 megapixel ultra wide, as well as a 12 megapixel selfie, which is wider field of view compared to the S25 FE. So that's to be tested to see how that looks like. What really surprised me is how much they packed into the camera system, which I was really surprised to see. Of course, you do get a high resolution 50 megapixel mode that you can take, so that is great when it comes to the flexibility. One of the things I really love about the Samsung camera system is the flexibility with the lens switching. So in 4K 30, you've got that on the main wide sensor, the ultra wide and the zoom, as well as the selfie, and you can switch between all of them on the same clip, pause and record and take pictures at the same time. Great. 4K 60 is limited to the main wide sensor and the selfie. You can't get that on the ultra wide and the zoom, which is a shame, unfortunately. Take that into consideration. You still have 8K 30 FPS video on the main camera, which is impressive to see. Samsung does one of the best native 8K recording on any camera, so that's really good to see when it comes to what you have here as well. What's also good is the video portrait mode is in 4K still, with the main camera and the selfie. So that's really impressive. Wasn't really expecting that too tough. So that's really, really good to see. And also for the slow motion mode, you've got 4K 120. So they are really maximizing on this Exynos 2500 chipset. So having 4K 120 is also nice for the main wide sensor as well. And one of the things I was surprised to see is that you do have the save to external storage feature in the settings. So yeah, you don't have things like the APV codec, you don't have log, you do have HDR, but I'm actually quite surprised from a video capability that they've been able to pack a lot in there. And I think that really does make it feel like a flagship camera system, way more than I was expecting. So bravo Samsung. When I have time to do an absolute definitive camera comparison like I could do with my other phones, maybe not based on time, but I might test it out and really see how it looks like on a low key. So initially that's giving me a good impression when it comes to what the camera is able to do. More testing to come. And then software wise, it's pretty straightforward. One UI 9 out of the box based on Android 17. Samsung have literally been on point when it comes to Android generations and versions out of the gate, and the support that you get with it 7 years later. So pretty much straightforward. Again, not much to see here when it comes to all the agentic AI features that you've got with One UI, Now Nudge, My Fan Cam, Photo Assist, Gemini, super steady with horizontal lock, which is great. Again, horizontal lock does work in 4K 60 for the main camera, but you've got the, not 4K, sorry, 1440p QHD at 60 FPS for the main camera, but you can do 1440p at 30 FPS on the other lenses such as the ultra wide and the zoom. So again, wanted to establish that as well. Nightography when it comes to obviously the video with the Pro Visual Engine, document scan, audio eraser, and upgraded smart switch, which really allows you to transfer a lot more over in terms of passwords and passkeys as well. So that's good. One UI 9 is feature rich, and of course, no disappointment there. Samsung's one of the best when it comes to Android software. That is my initial thoughts with my quick hands-on with the Galaxy S26 FE. Reviewing it coming in for more actual testing so I can give you more of my feedback. But again, I think it's hot on the heels of the S26 Plus. Would you rather buy that or buy the S26 FE? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. That's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.